Hello, and welcome to Heroes and Villains Spinner Pack Reviews number 2. We are Heroes and Villains in Warner Robins, Georgia, and we are reviewing comics for your pleasure. Not for her pleasure or my pleasure, but for your pleasure. So let's jump right into it.
This week we decided to read 3 books and then go more in depth on one of them. The 3 books we read this week were Shirtless Bear Fighter number 1.
You can't say that with a straight face, can you?
No, it was not my choice, obviously. The Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 1, and Weapons of Mutant Destruction number 1. Shirtless Bear Fighter, I want to just get it out of the way because it was a ridiculous book. I look at it as more of a comedy than a real, serious book. It was alright. The story is pretty kitschy, in my opinion. The art's okay. And I think I'd give it a Silver Age out of our 4-age ranking.
Okay. Well, Shirtless Bear Fighter is just like it sounds. I mean, look at this. It's shirtless, and he's a bear fighter, and it looks preposterous. We got a poster of it first before we got the comic almost a couple months ago. It looks ridiculous. The fact is it's kind of cute. It made me laugh. There are some pretty funny scenes in it. I ended up giving it also a Silver Age stamp of approval. I think it's worth a read. It's $3.99. It's not your worst comic of the week, that's for sure.
It is not. And I mean it's good for a laugh. There's a good amount of puns in there, a lot of bear-related jokes, obviously.
Yep, the government tries to get him to take care of a bear problem, and so they try to bribe him with flapjacks and maple syrup instead of money, because obviously
he doesn't care for money.
And, his origin's pret's simple. He was orphaned and raised by bears, and he is something superhuman about him, and there's one scene where he's juggling bears. He's also rather well-endowed, as you'll see through the book, I think.
I would not suggest this book for your children.
Nope.
Because Shirtless Bear Fighter does not actually put on pants until the last 3 pages of the book.
Yeah, it is pixeled out, but, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he's got a bear house, a bear plane. I hope he has, other bear gadgets in subsequent issues.
Well, I mean, his sound effect is the bear punch.
Yeah, bear punch. Yeah. Bear punch! So that's kind of awesome. But, so we both agree that it got the Silver Age Award.
Yes.
So Silver Age for the week for that.
Okay.
We decided to change up things rather than give a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a meh award to kind of go with the comic theme. So we decided if it's a thumbs up and we really recommend it, we're going to give it a Golden Age Award. And if it's a, meh, but still good, we're going to give it a Silver Age. But if it's bad, the thumbs down, we're going to give it the Back to the 90s award. And that's what it is.
Yep. It's pretty funny. I like it.
Okay, so Shirtless Bear Fighter, we gave the Silver Age.
Overall rating? Silver Age.
Overall, silver.
All right, so Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, is another Spider-Man issue series coming out, not in the same lines of Amazing Spider-Man. It references some of the stuff from Amazing, but it is its own storyline. It was decent. It's not what I would expect from a Spider-Man book. I usually expect him to be a little more cautious with people, and he gave in to a lot of whimsy in this book that I personally do not appreciate. But overall, the story's okay. They are taking in some other characters. Human Torch is in it as well. I don't want to say too much in case you want to read the book. There's a huge twist at the end that I feel many Spider-Man fans will not appreciate.
Yeah, and one of the things that in these reviews, we're going to have spoilers. I mean, I think we probably just ought to talk about it and throw it out there and have spoilers. If you don't want to hear spoilers, we'll read the book first. But we can't really review a book without revealing stuff inside of it. But
right.
And we'll get to that in just a second with the kind of the hit at the end, the thing at the end. God, what the hell's wrong with me? The reveal at the end was kind of like, what? But as Jenny said, the Human Torch appears in the book. Ant-Man appears in the book. The Tinkerer's brother, which I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
I haven't read Spider-Man books regularly since they retcon Pete and Mary Jane's wedding out. I took a huge stand, and I mean that's been a long time ago, and I haven't read a Spider-Man book since because I thought it was a stupid decision. But for the sake of these reviews, I read this piece of crap, and that's what it is. It's a piece of crap. I didn't like it. The art is good. The art's one of the Kubert brothers, Adam Kubert. The storyline's kind of meh, and then it just devolves into just dreck, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The reveal at the end is Pete, earlier in the book, is supposed to go out to see a movie with Human Torch because superheroes hang out together and stuff. But at the end of the book, he's waiting. Human Torch is waiting while Pete's off doing something else, and does he knock on the door?
No, he's just waiting outside. He's waiting outside. She walks out.
Yeah, he's waiting outside Peter's house, and a girl walks out and announces herself that he's Teresa. She's Teresa.
Yeah, she's Teresa.
She's Teresa, Peter Parker's sister. So yeah.
At first, I thought it was going to be Mary Jane because her hair is kind of red and stuff.
It does give off a Mary Jane vibe,
and the art's new, so I was like, okay, well, Mary Jane's coming into play. Maybe they'll bring them back together finally, But no, this is his sister that nobody knew existed. And why didn't she go live with Aunt May and Uncle Ben when their parents died? She must be a lot older, I guess. But
yeah, and Johnny kind of reacts to it too. He's like, "What?" But that is what it is. But this book, I give straight back to the 90s because that's what it feels like. 90s crap.
Yeah. I gave it a Silver Age. The story's okay. I'm more interested in the Black Widow aspect of it. The main story arc with Tinkerer's brother seems kind of, if it's not actually Tinkerer, it seems like a missed bullet. And it would be nice if it wasn't, but I don't believe it.
Well, one thing that you brought up that I want to touch on, too, is like the Tinkerer's brother is tinkering with everyone's gadgets. Falcon's in the book, and he works on the Falcon's wings. And then Ant-Man's stuck at a not full size, and he works on Ant-Man's helmet. And then Spider-Man, just meeting the guy, lets him work on his web shooters, which I think that's preposterous. Why would you let, I know your friends are vouching for him, but why would you let somebody you've never met start messing around with your tech? It makes no sense whatsoever.
It's very strange to me with someone who is so keen on keeping his identity a complete secret from people to just be like, oh yeah, sure, all these superhero secret identities, here, mess with my stuff too.
Yep.
But it's okay. I really want to know what Black Widow's trying to do with Spider-Man's super senses or spider sense. But outside of that, it's not very good. It was a borderline back to the 90s for me.
So the main part of our review is for the Weapons of Mutant Destruction.
Yes.
Number 1 by Greg Pak and Mahmoud Asbar. Hope we're pronouncing his name right. The book centers around a series of adamantium cyborg assassins that are going around trying to kill mutants at the behest of the good-natured Reverend Stryker. Always such a pleasant guy. The book stars Totally Awesome Hulk, Amadeus Cho, Old Man Logan, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, Domino, Warpath. That's the main group of characters. Mm-hmm.
Everything in the Weapon X series that started recently, it's up to 4 issues now, has been leading up to this crossover event. If you haven't read it, Weapon X number 4 has a prelude into the Weapons of Mutant Destruction, where they managed to get a sample of Amadeus Cho's DNA and are starting to incorporate it into their cyborg assassins in this issue.
Yep, and these assassins are going around killing mutants. They're pretty tough. They've got healing factor and adamantium, which means they heal, and they're really tough and very, very durable. And they're basically undetectable. Wolverine and Sabretooth have problems with their heightened senses detecting them, which that comes back to haunt them later in the book. The book opens up in a facility, and this facility's got extremely tight security, and it introduces some of the characters. One of the ones that I've never heard of is the Doctor, and her name is Dr. Alba. Not to be confused with Dr. Jessica Alba, because Dr. Jessica Alba doesn't exist. She's just an actress and model. So.
Threw me off with that one. Throughout this comic, they are prepping to get ready to storm the facility again. Logan has reached out to Kitty Pryde at the Xavier. Is it the Xavier Institute in this one?
Yeah.
At the Xavier Institute, because she's got Cerebra.
Cerebra.
I think that's what they called it.
It's bra, as in bra.
Bruh. Like, oh, bra.
Yeah.
Gotcha, not bruh, but bra.
Not like bro, like bra.
Cerebra. To keep an eye on all the mutants, because pretty much anyone is a target at this point. They have decided to let go of the irony of mutants killing mutants and to start including superheroes and whatever abilities they have gained from their superpowers. Nobody is really safe from the cyborgs capturing you and continuing to use your DNA and your body as a source of limitless materials for these mutant destruction machines.
The team is a weird kind of team because you got Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth, and and I was going through the book reading it. I'm just like, oh wow, we got some heroes, and then we're going to sprinkle some popular villains in there too, just for whatever. I don't really like that, but it did flow well. Like there's a scene where Wolverine surprises Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth and attacks them and tells them to be on guard, like an old drill instructor. Crotchety Wolverine at his best.
Yeah. Of the 6 people in this lineup, only 2 of them have never tried to kill each other. Like Domino and Lady Deathstrike are always trying to assassinate each other. Sabretooth and Logan are always trying to assassinate each other. So it's very interesting to see that we've got these 4 pretty rogue X-Men villains. 2 of them, tend to stay towards the side of heroes. Close, pretty okay, and the other 2 definitely tend to go more towards villainy. And then you have Warpath and Amadeus Cho, who are like the good guys of the group.
Although Warpath, when he first appeared, was a bad guy.
That is true.
He was a member of the Hellions, and they were Emma Frost's group of characters. Not characters, but her students set to destroy the X-Men way back in X-Men 193 from the 1980s.
Yeah, but
This week it was my fun. That kind of distracted me.
It did. So as they're looking into the source of who is creating these adamantium cyber killer guys, Amadeus Cho has concocted some sort of preservation liquid thing. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
And they start investigating where this came from.
Yeah, and it gives them a couple leads, and they follow those leads. One leads them to Lawton, Oklahoma, which takes, I think, Sabretooth and Domino, Old Man Logan there, yeah. Well, no, Warpath too. Yeah, takes them to that. And when they're going in, one of the kind of humorous things that happen, as we alluded to earlier, you can't detect these adamantium creatures. And Sabretooth quips, well, I only detect... he rips into a fence and it makes a lot of noise, and someone says, I bet if you tried you could be louder. And he's like, there's no reason to be quiet. There's no cameras in this facility. And, besides, there's no one in here except 5 cats.
Right.
So they go in, and as soon as they get in there, not long after that, Sabretooth reacts to one of the cats, walks over like he's going to pet it, and the thing goes full Cujo on him and pretty much turns into one of the creatures and attacks him. And then all hell breaks loose because then they're being attacked by not 5 cats, but like a whole
I'd say like
kid
a
and
horde.
caboodle of
Yeah,
cats.
kid and caboodle.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a whole bunch of cats.
Yeah, I'd say there's at least 20 of them.
So if you enjoy seeing superheroes battle cyborg adamantium cats, this is the book for you because they start claws start getting extended and knives thanks to Warpath and guns, and the whole time this melee is going on, Domino's running around with a handful of cash that she found, and I think that's kind of funny.
Well, and then it gets blown up.
And burned.
And then she's very upset.
Yeah.
And while all of that is going on, Amadeus Cho and Lady Deathstrike have headed to the location of where the cyborg they managed to capture and keep alive. Because typically, when you capture them, their heads blow up because the scientists are always monitoring what's going on through their eyes. And they've managed to capture this guy, found out that he used to have a life, so they're going to investigate his family.
Using facial recognition stuff, they track him down, and Lady Deathstrike, who is accompanied by Amadeus Cho, go to where he lives, and I think I don't remember where it's at. I don't guess that really matters. But they go and they meet his charming mom, and
oh my gosh, that lady.
There's a really good exchange between Amadeus Cho and
Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike.
That was one of the key moments, I think, in that book for me, is the fact that so Cho finds this video of the mom forcing her son.
Well, hold on. What I was talking about was going back where they're at the door. They knock on the door, and Amadeus says he sprays the lady and knocks her out, and he says, "I sensed you were about to go all Lady Deathstrikey," but he said I went for the temporarily unconscious strikey, which I thought was kind of cute and kind of funny. But they proceed, and
yeah. So the key moment I thought you were talking about is that Amadeus Cho finds this video on the mom's phone where she forces her son to murder his own cat because the cat did something.
I don't think the son did it. I think she did it in front of him.
Did she? Because she told him to put the cat in the bag.
She did, but then later on, Amadeus goes, who does that to her kid's own cat?
That's true. So Lady Deathstrike and Amadeus have this interaction where Amadeus is sitting there and he's really torn up about this cat video.
Yeah.
More so the fact that, 1, she made him do it, and 2, she recorded and kept the video.
She kept the video for a number of years.
Right.
So you've got Amadeus Cho, who is a young kid and a superhero, like a good superhero. And
Right.
you got Lady Deathstrike, who's a trained Weapon X assassin. And that's kind of a weird team to have together.
Right.
And they put their differences on full display on
In
one
this
of the
interaction.
in this interaction, and it's pretty stark differences.
Yeah. The big thing is, he's like, who does this? And she's like, well, my dad did worse to me personally.
Yeah.
Not my cat, but me. And he's like, well, how do you deal with that? And she's like, well, you just learn people suck and move on with your life. But see, you'll probably learn that people suck and you'll forgive them and give them another chance.
Yep.
I'm not up to that.
And she says, you better wise up.
Yeah. So I thought that was really, really cool because in this situation, he needs to not be jaded by his innocence anymore. Because
That's true.
Pretty much anyone can kill you in this world.
And that's just a common theme in superhero titles is the innocence doesn't last. I mean, the villains will be as dastardly as you can find anywhere in any media. Like, always one of the things that I remember about when Kyle Rayner got his ring, his Green Lantern ring. Within a few issues of him getting his Green Lantern ring, Major Force killed his girlfriend and stuffed her in a fridge. And that's a pretty good. Hey, welcome to the superhero lifestyle. You won't need your girlfriend because we're going to kill her and put her in a fridge.
All right.
But the book then goes, unless you see some of the inner workings of Stryker's church, which looks like it's some twist on the Westboro Baptist Church, because they're freaking crazy.
Which gets into the whole, Dr. Alba is sitting there, and she comes to Stryker and says, we need more specimens. Your way, while it's great, is not working fast enough. He personally wants volunteers that he can brainwash to completely be against mutant kind. It's almost a religion to him. I mean, it is a religion to him.
One of the differences, again, in the book, is the differences between Stryker and Dr. Alba. Stryker wants quality. He wants volunteers that are into what he's preaching.
Right.
And Alba wants bodies. She wants to make it happen quicker. And to Stryker's face, she agrees with him and says, "You're the boss." But when they get behind closed doors, when the recruit asks her to pray with him, she pretty much tasers him.
Yeah, and just is like, stick him in the vault. That's all we need is another body to do stuff with. And at this point, they've started incorporating the Hulk DNA into their cyborgs now. Yeah,
and that's going to be a problem for the heroes later on, because adamantium Hulks running around with a healing factor.
That's not what we need.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for anybody.
I mean, Hulk has his own healing factor. Is bad enough, but with a hyper-produced healing factor, the ability to fly because they got Warpath's DNA.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they had managed to get Domino and get her luck? Well, they might get her DNA because of the cats.
Could. So I see at the end book, I see 10 subjects in these tubes being weaponized. So that doesn't look good.
Yes. So overall, I would give the Weapons of Mutant Destruction a golden age because of how well it ties into the Weapon X storyline, which I've already been reading. However, if you're going to read this story, please keep an eye out. It is a crossover event, so it will only be issued in Totally Awesome Hulk and the other Weapon X books.
And for that reason, I'm only going to give it a Silver Age, because forcing someone to buy books that they don't normally buy is not something that I think. As a retailer, I think, hey, that's cool. But as a comic collector, I think that's sending the wrong signal. In an age where Marvel's reporting low sales and sales that are dropping off the cliff in for some books, I don't think they should be doing this. I think they should have concise storylines. If you want to put out a miniseries, well, put out a miniseries. Don't loop it into regular books and have people that are X-Men buyers buy the Totally Awesome Hulk. The book was good, but it's just your typical
crossover shenanigans.
Yep, and that's why I don't think it deserves a golden age just for that. So,
if I wasn't already buying Weapon X, it wouldn't be as much it would be more of an issue for me. But luckily, I only have to buy two issues of Totally Awesome Hulk. So,
but see. There you go. Do you normally buy Totally Awesome Hulk?
No. And half the crossover events I won't buy crossover books for.
Well, as a comic book owner, everybody's a comic book owner, but as a comic book store owner, I can read everything, but I am really restrictive to what I read. But if I could put my feet in the shoes of a buyer, if I was buying a book and had to buy another book that I wasn't reading, I won't do it. I just won't do it.
I get that.
But there you go. That's our reviews for this week.
Yep.
For June? How about
June 21st?
Yeah, June 21st. Wednesday, June 21st, 2017.
Go get your new books. They come out today.
And if you can't come to Heroes and Villains, we'll find your local store and go to them.
Yes. Hit the like or subscribe button wherever we're putting it. And follow us on YouTube. If you get the chance, come by and say hey.
We're also on Facebook and Twitter, so check us out there as well. Thanks a lot.